Though Game of Thrones was the biggest show on television, there were still plenty of things fans found to criticize. One of the biggest issues they took with the show was veering too far from the source material. Despite George R.R. Martin's novel series remaining unfinished, many fans see his work as the definitive take on this story. Of course, with any adaptation, changes need to be made and fans will inevitably get upset, but there were changes made by the show that fans on Reddit actually admit were improvements to the story.
We obviously didn't communicate clearly. We're here to discuss your surrender, not mine.
It's intriguing that Daenerys, who was a fan favorite in the novel, spent so much time apart from the other primary characters. Fans felt eager to get her to Westeros by the time her narrative got her to Meereen, but the wait was considerably longer in the novels. In the books, Daenerys' tenure in Meereen is prolonged and filled with many political maneuvers and coping with the challenges of reigning. Redditor Leave It to Your Goat believed it would stagnate her whole narrative, and favored the show's more streamlined approach.
Have you ever been a handmaiden before?
On Game of Thrones, there were a number of fun duos, some of which came about very unexpectedly. When Sansa was imprisoned in King's Landing, she formed a friendship with Shae, her handmaiden. Shae became someone in whom Sansa could confide, and she grew protective of her. This connection does not exist in the novels since the characters are kept apart for the most part. One Redditor, though, expressed gratitude for the bond if only to have Sansa not be utterly alone, while in King's Landing.
Tell Cersei. I wanted to know it was me.
With such a large ensemble, it's natural for some of the book characters to be underutilized on the program. Olenna Tyrell, on the other hand, was a rare character whose function was really expanded for the program. Olenna, while being portrayed as an intellectual and strong leader in the novels, does not play a significant role in the plot. She is, however, given a considerably larger part in the program and rapidly becomes a fan favorite. Diane Rigg's performances were commended by one Redditor, who stated that she truly brought the role to life in a positive way.
5, 1.
Because each chapter of the books is recounted from the perspective of a different character, some of the non-POV characters are not given as much attention in the novels. Robert Baratheon and Cersei Lannister are among them, despite their importance in the first volume. The production, however, made a tweak by incorporating a new chat sequence between the two characters that addressed their lives together. Despite the fact that it was a brief sequence, Redditor Shrite10 believed it gave a ton of depth to their personalities.
Oh, I'm very sorry. I don't know anything about all of that.
It's easy to understand how Tyrion Lannister became the outstanding character in both the novels and the TV. Martin provided many of Tyrion's greatest lines, but the show elevated the character's humorous sensibility even further. Many fans praised Tyrion's confession sequence while imprisoned in the Eyrie, with Redditor Funny Zookeeper Game stating that it was a lot funnier on the show. Instead of admitting to the crime, Tyrion went on a long rant about all the nasty pranks he performed as a youngster.
Sansa. Is she all right?
What you did for her is the only reason I'm not killing you.
Theon Greyjoy was given a considerably greater part in the second novel and season as he struggled to establish himself. As a result, he captured Winterfell in the name of the Ironborn and became the villain. Despite the horrible things Theon did throughout the program, his clear regret over his acts proved he wasn't too far gone. However, the novels made him considerably less sympathetic, and Redditor DeWale24 subsequently found it impossible to trust his regret.
Let's kill some crows!
Great combat sequences in Game of Thrones were always thrilling to watch. Of course, if there were no budget restraints, the novels would typically have a far greater scale, but the Battle of Castle Black was one instance when the smaller combat made for a more fascinating one. When the wildlings stormed Castle Black in the novel, the combat was divided into two halves. Though it had some exciting moments, Redditor Nick Garcia 16 noted that it became a bit of a drag after a while, despite the fact that the episode included one big action sequence. White Walkers are a terrifying menace in the literature, but they've been spoken about more than seen. This was mostly true in the performance until they emerged from the shadows at Hardhome. The attack on Hardhome occurs in the novels but is only mentioned in reports. According to Redditor DEL 994, having Jon Snow in the midst of this frightening conflict and introducing the White Walkers' overlord, the Night King, gave them a more present menace. Given the quantity of information in the novels, there were entire plots that were cut from the television program. Lady Stoneheart was one of the most important features that fans expected to see but never saw. Beric Dondarrion discovers Catelyn Stark's body after the Red Wedding and resurrects her. Lady Stoneheart, a half-dead furious woman, emerges. One Redditor, though, conceded that this was one of Martin's rare blunders as a writer and that the character would have been extremely cheesy to watch on TV. Hey, if you enjoyed this video, make sure you click the like button so I can feel all mushy inside. Also, click the subscribe button while you are there, and then since you are on such a clicking roll, why not click on another awesome video that is already loaded up right here. You don't even have to watch it, just let the video play at 1% while you eat your sushi or something.